Hi, welcome to Reclamation Corner. Today we're going to be working on my 2003 SL55. I purchased this in the fall of 2020, found it down in Fort Myers, Florida, and had it shipped up here to northeastern Indiana. Bought this car, it had quite a few issues, but it ran great. We had problems with it, had the wrong size rims on it, so I was able to find a nice set of rims that I really liked, all new brakes on it, and some suspension items. But today what we're going to be working on, like many SLs out there, this one had all kinds of roof problems. So today I'm going to show you what I did to fix my roof problems. First of all, let me apologize. I got my collar fixed so I look a little better. The reason I've got the car up on the lift, I had some issues going on with the EIS, which proved to be the electronic ignition switch, which proved to be a lot more difficult than I thought to get a second key, since the car only had one key when I purchased it. I thought I could just go to the Mercedes-Benz dealer, buy a key, and be all good, but it turned out to be a lot more. I had to pull a lot more items, so hence it's up on the lift. But the top that we're working on today, the problem I had is somebody stripped out in the past that little 6mm hex that you can manually lock and unlock the top. So what happened was I couldn't either lock it or unlock it. One thing's critical though, you need to understand exactly how this top works. I did find a nice paper. I'm going to try to link that below so you can look at that, but just a quick synopsis. When you hold your lever back, or your little switch there to open the trunk, first thing it does, it opens the trunk up, flaps on either side come out. It then pushes the top just a little bit forward, and that is strictly to release the pressure on the lock on the top of the windshield. It then unlocks it, retracts the top into the trunk, closes the trunk lid, and everything is good to go. Well, mine was stripped out, and that whole mechanism is about $500, provided you can find a good one. They are on eBay. But I fixed it by taking it apart, machining a new part to go in there. I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. So I brought this back into the quality room, and what we're looking at here is the pin that needs to be replaced. I've stuck it up on a 123 block. I'm going to use my CMM to get an accurate measurement of how long this pin is before I do any grinding to cut it off. What I don't want to do is get something that's too short. So go down here, touch the 123 block. I've got it in the height mode. And we'll come back in again, touch the top of it, and we'll get a nice accurate measurement. That's going to make it a lot easier when we get ready to go into Fusion 360 and draw up the pin that we need to make so we can get this thing working again. As you can see here, that hex, this is the original 6mm hex, and it is just all wallered out, and I think somebody tried to over tighten it, which made all kinds of problems. This area is what we're going to be grinding off. It's about 20 thousandths up. And we're going to just take it out into the shop, and we're going to grind it off a little bit so we can take this pin out, and then we'll get a real accurate look of what we need to remanufacture to get this thing working again. We're going to grind this down until this flat surface meets that washer. I'm going to use a Dynafile. I've got about 100 grit sandpaper on here, and I like the Dynafile because I have a lot of control over it. You could use a grinder. I just don't want to do any damage. This is a very expensive unit here, so see if we can grind this down. And I broke my first belt, so I put one on here that's a little bit tougher. I got that right down to that edge. I'm just going to kind of put this up on some blocks to give it a little bit of support. I'm going to gently tap the center of it, and hopefully it'll come out of there. Yep, it's coming loose. Okay. And that is the part that we need, just like that. So I went ahead, brought this back into the quality room. I just wanted to put it back up here in the CMM, touch off the main flange. What I'm just trying to do is confirm how much I actually took off of it. Bring the CMM back in here and touch the top. And I did take about 20 to 24 thousandths off of it. I went ahead here, jumped on my CAD program. I use Fusion 360. I stepped away from SolidWorks after 20-some years and switched to Fusion 360 about a year and a half ago. Very nice little program, does everything I want to do. Hope you all check it out. My original part here, you can just see it just looks worn. It's from a 2003. This was some 304 stainless I had around the shop. And I did put an 8mm hex in this one. It's going to give me a little more surface area. The shaft here is 5mm, and I put a 20 thousandths groove in the end. I've got this little spring clip retainer. Pick this up on McMaster-Carr. You can buy a bag of those for about $3. And I'm going to put that on to hold it in place, but we're going to need a shim on it. So during the process here, I had a few that didn't quite meet the standard, so I used that to line everything up. Go ahead and slide the good one in here. You have to turn it just a little bit. It has to line up with the main bracket here, or arm, so that does all the work when you actually activate the system. So I've got these little washers, just a 5mm stainless steel washer. They're about a 12 thousandths thick. I did a little bit of math, and 2 of them is going to work out just perfect. With this, put my little spring retaining clip on here. It just slides on. It'll keep it in place. What I was really concerned about is I didn't want this thing rotating and then working either an E-clip or some other kind of clip off. So this spring retainer goes on. It has a positive lock on it, and it's not going to come off and cause me any kind of issues down the road. I exercised this back and forth several times. This is a small system. We're not moving much fluid. We've got the cylinder up there. We've got a little bit of mechanical advantage, so it has to lock that top in place. But I didn't want it doing any more work than it absolutely had to do. So I've got a little bit of play, about 5 thousandths. We're ready to put this back in the car. It's all looking good. We now have the complete mechanism reinstalled back in the vehicle, starting on the driver's side here. We're kind of going across the front. As you can see here in the middle, there's our stainless steel part. There's a clip on each of these cables that is imperative to unlock the top, which would be just above your head as you're setting in the car. So make sure you get those clips on right where they were. Moving on over to the passenger side, you can see where I've marked this thing when I took it out. Be very careful when you're taking this thing out. Make sure to mark it, take pictures, know where your wires go, know how to route those cables correctly. You need everything working just the way it should. Right now, we're ready to operate the top. Looks like everything is good here. It's put back in exactly like it needs to be. Well, we've got everything done, and we're ready to give the top a try, so let's make sure everything works. I've got good confirmation, everything's down, the top is locked in place in the trunk, and this project is complete. Thanks for watching.